access to Endwalker. And we're back! We have main story quests. Let us do it. No, I don't care about you. You. Yes, let us begin. Richtown, do you have some time to talk? I do! I would like to gather everyone in Dawn's respite and together assess the situation in which we find ourselves. Let us take stock of the facts, shall we? The crisis at hand began with the sudden appearance of ominous towers in the multitude of locations throughout the world. We have since learned that such structures were brought into being by an organization known as Teleforai. Teleforai's stated purpose is to recreate the final days of eons past, an apocalyptic event that will result in the destruction of all we hold dear. Already have these towers. There has been the cause of untold suffering. Countless innocents kidnapped and imprisoned, their faith perverted for primal summonings. Yes, indeed. And unless we find a way to deal with the corrupted auras surrounding the spires, we can't even get close enough to rescue anyone. Those shielded with blessing of light seem able to resist being tempered, at least. But after what happened to Arenvald and Fodola, we need to be very, very careful about how we proceed. Yet, while these threats close to home are paramount of concern, we mustn't lose sight of the situation in Garlemald. As you know, the Teleforai are under the leadership of Fandaniel and one other delightful fellow, Zenas Yaigelvis, the crown prince of the dear friend. To date, he's reclaimed his old body, murdered Emperor Velis, and plunged Garlemald into an even deeper pit of chaos. The capital has probably seen the worst of it. For a good while there, it saw the bloodiest fighting and war of succession, but there has since changed in a troubling way. Aye, during the reconnaissance, the air was not once rent by the barking of cannons or cries of discord. 'Twas an eerie fog of silence which blanketed the ruined city. The inhabitants' spirit had been tempered, and with nary a word spoken did they labor to transform the palace into a soaring edifice born of nightmares. If we indeed made thralls, it seems safe to assume that these events too were orchestrated by the Teleforai. An army of primals is awful enough, but in light of recent developments, I fear it is only the prelude to an even greater catastrophe. We need to devise a means to counter this threat quickly before our allies are overwhelmed. We will find a way into Charlene, I am sure of it. Master Fortunat comments regarding the final days were curious, to say the least. The Forum knows more than it is letting on. Sorry to interrupt. We just received word from Mistress Krill. She says the arrangements for your visit have been finalized. You're to head to Vinza Nomensa and board the next ship bound for Charlene. And on arrival, present yourself as associates of the students of Baldesion, come to assist the Order's restoration. The arrangements may be settled, but what are your thoughts? They must race at the prospect of returning home after so long. I am eager to see, of course. Of course. We should set off at once. Then I'll accompany you to the docks. You need at least one person there to wave and cry and wish you a safe journey. Let's do. Alright, well, first things first, let's go into my duty log. And we want to not abandon. How do I? Yeah, let's hide all these. There we go. Okay, perfect. Yeah. Oh, wait. Let's go to this crazy place. Limslumen says a silly place. So I leveled up a bunch of guys that I didn't record. So I got my paladin maxed out, and my white mage is almost, well, it was maxed out, now it's up to 90, right? But almost at 80. And then I was working on some crafters and gatherers and other such things. I like her staff and her dress. Okay. Oh, look at this! It's a gangbang. The quest giver. Man. What a train wreck. See if I can get in here. Did it! Everyone's here, which is good because we've already paid for the passage and the fee is not refundable. The ship for Charlene should be pulling into the port soon, so please follow me and all of your luggage close in hand.
They've almost finished loading our cargo. We should be ready to depart right on schedule, or so I'm told.
Excellent. 'Tis nice to have a smooth beginning to one's journey, at the very least.
It's funny. Master Louis Soir came here on a ship very much like this one. And now, years later, the street urchin he befriended that day is bound for his mentor's homeland. With his mentor's grandchildren, no less.
Aye. 'Tis upon reflection that every twist of time's river and fate's whims are brought into sharp relief. Thou hast matured much in the intervening years. Wert thou not caught attempting to relieve Master Louis Soir of his purse scant moments after he made landfall upon this dock?
Delicious.
Oh, really? Now that's a tale I'd like to hear.
Will this be your first visit to Charlian, Sir Estinian? Sir Estinian?
Are we strangers newly met? Why this stiff formality?
I, merely meant it as a professional courtesy, since we are now colleagues in an official sense.
I'd rather you dispense with the sirs, especially in private company. Or I'll be forced to respond in kind, little Lord Alphino.
You've made your point, Estinian. Painfully well.
I told you.
Better.
Are you all right, Tataru? You seem positively distraught.
Distraught? Me? Don't be silly. I think it's lovely that they get to see their homeland. It's just... we're trying to thwart the schemes of an army hellbent on destroying the world. And, once again, I have to stay behind and worry that this is the last time I'll get to see my friends. I'll hold you to that.
Ah, good. You're still here.
Hori! Coulternay! What brings you all this way?
Who are you people?
We're to assist the Maelstrom and the Kobolds with a lunar primal operation, so we thought we'd see you off before heading to the tower. Flamine and the others wish you all a safe journey, and promise that they'll look after things here until you return. We will too, of course. Aye. We, your fellow Scions of the Seventh Dawn, will do our part to ensure the end of the world won't happen on our watch.
We're set to sail! All aboard for Charlian!
It's time.
Then we must delay no longer. We will contact you the moment we learn aught of value. Wish us luck.
Have a safe journey! And please, please, be careful.
And so you venture forth unto the unknown. A fate beyond the horizon that cannot be divined. A future undefined and in flux. In uncertain times, naught but the simplest words of wisdom will suffice. That which lives is destined to die. Love leads to loss. Every beginning has an end. Treasure every moment, every step of your descent. And there, in the depths where souls and stars rest, find your truth.
This is fun.
Here. Feel. Think.
The day has barely dawned, my fellow earlier riser. Though we're hardly alone in that. Envious of those still sleeping soundly, no doubt. Called out to you, you say? I've heard nothing myself. In any case, I dare say the sea air will do you good. Why not join the others on deck? Charlian should be coming into view at any moment.
my voice yet reaches you. I am glad. Hear, feel, think. And thus do we meet face to face at last.
Oh, it's idling.
My
It's not a crystal
warrior
anymore.
of light, guided by the crystal.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
You have visited the first. You have every right to say that. You have gained an understanding of what I truly am, what Eidolon has always been, a primal. Zodiac was created to forestall the apocalypse which threatened the ancient world, and I was brought forth to bind him. Yet 7 times now, those who would orchestrate a return to that bygone era have rejoined a shard to the god I had sundered. The greater his strength grows, the swifter does mine own diminish. The power to draw your mind into the rift betwixt is no longer mine to wield. Yet though it taxes me sorely, I dare not leave these words unsaid. Even bereft of my guidance, you and your companions have accepted the burden of this star's troubled past. A conjunction has begun to form, an intertwining of your time and mine. Wheels shudder and turn. Conflict looms. Monumental. Which will decide the fate of this world and all life upon it. When you truly understand what is at stake, and your journey has prepared you to surmount the insurmountable, then shall I honor the promise made in another time, another age.
Cast your peepers to the fore, folks. Sharlian's just over yonder.
There it is.
I will not keep you further. Your traveler's heart must yearn to behold this unfamiliar land. We shall meet again, and soon.
What's up, girl?
Oh, what a fine morning. Oh, still a bit stiff, though.
And a good morning to you too. Taking a look at the island already?
Then let's go. Let's go! Might still be room in the prow if we're lucky.
Ah, the sleepers have arisen. There she is. Good old Sharlian.
Oh, I see it.
Home. Home at last. Well, Maybe not in Father's eyes. But we'll manage on our own, if we must.
You do know you're not alone in this, don't you?
Indeed. 'Tis as Sir Estinian said. Forget not the comrades who boarded this ship at your side, I prithee.
Thank you, my friends. We are ever grateful for your steadfast support.
Upon arrival, we will be disembarking into the heart of Sharlayan proper. There is no greater concentration of wisdom in all the world. I am confident that somewhere within that center of knowledge and learning, we will find the answers we seek.
Sharlayan, the solitary island nation of the northern seas. Where under the watchful gaze of Thaliak, patron deity of scholars, academics hoard all manner of knowledge and secrets. Once, they deigned to accept foreign students into a distant colony maintained in the Dravanian hinterlands. How swiftly they abandoned it once the first Garlean boot set hostile foot on Alamegan soil. So averse to the prosecution of war, these men of wisdom, your would-be allies.
I thought they'd never let us off the ship. What's next, then? Entry applications?
Hopefully they find no cause to deny us.
Hasn't Sharlayan all but severed relations with foreign powers? Those of us without direct ties,
Tis true that you neutral countries. But from a practical standpoint, an island cannot afford to be overly strict with its borders. Especially not if that island's people are wholly devoted to the accumulation of knowledge. If one submits the proper paperwork, with satisfactory evidence of identity and intent, then foreigners may be granted entry.
may.
Quite. So let us be absolutely clear on these points before we proceed. The immigration officer will ask for your affiliation and your purpose of visit. Considering Sharlayan's views on intervention, I strongly suggest we avoid any mention of the Scions. Kral has laid the groundwork for us to act as associates of the students of Baldessian, and our ostensible reason for being here is to aid in their order's restoration. Grahatir, it might expedite our progress should an actual student be seen at the head of our little group. Would you mind leading the way?
Of course. The immigration officers were this way, as I recall. Shall we? Greetings. We've just arrived and are eager to make our way into the city. Would you be so kind as to process our entry applications?
Certainly. I see by your mark you are an Archon.
I am. Grahatir of the Students of Baldesion at your service. I was assigned to an Eorzean survey team, but have returned to assist with the reformation of my order. My associates here will provide additional support.
Very good. I have paperwork detailing your group and its scheduled arrival for today. And it seems some few of your companions are also Archons. If you'll step forward, we can process those applications first.
Ishtola rule.
See how it glows? That list is etherically linked with the citizen registry kept in the main repository.
I've confirmed your status as Archons and amended your travel records accordingly. Welcome home. Now, who do we have here?
Is it my hot ass? Oh no, it's the twins. It's her hot ass.
Alphino Leveilleur.
And Alizé Leveilleur.
Your applications have also been approved. Having said that, the streets are abuzz with talk of how House Leveilleur's lord disowned his young progeny. And while such personal circumstances constitute no reason to deny you entry, I urge you to avoid exacerbating your present situation. Times are quite troubled enough already.
We shall keep that in mind.
These last two are not Sharlayan natives, but you will find their credentials are in order. An application was made in advance.
Name and occupation?
I killed giant gods.
An adventurer. Well, I suppose that is considered a valid calling in your native Eorzea. And it does indeed match the profile provided. You may enter. And you, sir?
Estinian Valino, formerly of the Order of the Knights Dragoon in Ishgard.
Formally, at least. And what, pray tell, is your profession now?
I kill dragons.
If you'll allow me... My associate is a mercenary, hired for his strength at arms. Surely you are aware of the dangers we often face on our forays into the wilderness.
Mistress Baldessian, if you insist on sponsoring his entry, then so be it. But while I appreciate that desperate times call for desperate measures, I find your choice of company concerning. Be advised that even a single misstep may have severe repercussions for your organization.
I have every confidence in my chosen company, dear and trusted comrades that they are. But I thank you for your concern.
Croyle! It is good to see you.
Likewise. Long voyage notwithstanding, you will seem none the worse for wear. There is much to discuss, but this is hardly the place. Let's be on our way, shall we? Oh! Welcome, friends, to Sharlayan.
As your mercenary, I should hope my welcome includes a generous salary.
What a sass mouth.
I had to say something, Sir Taciturn.
Ugh, look at this. Get out of here. What's up, babe? That was as awkward as expected. Still, we're here now, and that's all that matters. I'm glad I spotted your ship coming into port. The officers are born bureaucrats, sticklers for details. In any case, you may relax and take a moment to get your landlings back. What am I getting here? House Chestnut. Yeah. I had thought to launch directly into an explanation of what I'd learned and how we might proceed. But this rich town and Estinian's first time in Sharlayan, and the rest of you are homecoming. It was long overdue. You must have places you wish to visit, people you're dying to see. Therefore, I propose to postpone our agenda so that you may all have sufficient time to recover from your journey and get the bearings in the city, and so that Alice and Alphino can get new uniforms. Once you've settled in, we can reconvene at the Baldessian Annex. How does that sound? 'Tis a fine suggestion. We may not be welcome at the Levellier estate as such, but I should like to nose around the neighborhood all the same. I'm equally untethered, as it were. It's a particular place that my kin call home. Still, I would not pass up the opportunity to reacquaint myself with the city. Likewise, a quick tour of the old haunts might even yield some useful gossip. The annex was west of the Etherat Plaza, wasn't it? I shall join you there anon! Yes, we'll see you there. I too have places I would be missed not visiting forthwith, by your leave. What of you, Estinian? My services as guide are yours for the asking. That won't be necessary. Until we reconvene, I prefer to wander as the wind takes me. But I could... Ew. Well, Laraha, would you like to join us then? You can be gone for quite a while. It'd be a perfect place to refresh those dusty old memories of yours. Oh, of course, if you'll have me. Come, Charlene awaits. When Perm is more advanced than you. Oh, I was reading this thing on my phone. Alright. There we go. After you, my friend, I am more than content to follow your lead. Galadat here is now accompanying you. Keep him at your side in order to proceed with quest objectives. You can leave Galadat behind by entering different areas using the Ethernet, or by putting through distance between you. You can also speak with Galadat and select the option to part ways. Wish that Galadat accompany you again. Return and speak to the original location. Here is accompanying you. Try speaking with her. Oh, this is interesting. What is this? What is this escort quest? Why? What a terrible thing. Whatever. All set, then let us be on our way. Our first stop, amusingly enough, will be the last stand. It's a cafe on the west side of the harbor. Krill is now accompanying you also. Holy cow. Lead your companions to leave the stand. You're While you're accompanied, you may encounter conversation points along the way which offer additional topics of discussion. Enter glowing area and speak with your quest companions to initiate these bonus conversations. Enjoy exploring this round together. This is like a very interesting thing. Alright. 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 I'd like to... I guess you gotta go click on these, right? It's been a minute. Definitely want to grab these. Illustrating details of one of the monsters who are in distance goes for fuck. Really? Man. You let me do that? Man. Man. Oh, actually, let's, look at this mess. Ugh. I should have cleaned this up before I did this. It's like a hot mess. What is this trash? Belts. Oh, that is much better. Yes, let's click that. Okay. It's not a belt, is it? Bracelet. Oh boy. Yeah, where is that retainer? Is it over this way? Should clear out a lot of this stuff before we continue, I think. Oh fun, look, there's a little thing for me to go. Let's do this first then. Just make sure I'm not getting any messages I need to look at. Alright, boy. Boy. Got a lot of junk there. Okay. Let's... Okay. I don't know what those do. Okay. Someday we'll go through these retainers and figure it out. No, we're just trying to dump load. Cut load. That's good. Alright. Good enough. Alright, onward. Get in here. With all the unusual wares coming and going, although there is expect the assistance of an interpreting spirit to be highly appreciated. I see no reason why I couldn't undertake any tasks that pique your interest. You've been cleared by the immigration offices. I look for the day the name is celebrated in Charlene is the same as in any words. This place is called Peristyle, and it's the first stop of the cargo unloaded at the docks. The usual necessities of the daily living are their imports vital to bring an island nation. Excuse me, but also supplies and further Charlene's pursuit of knowledge. Namely, large quantities of books, specimens, and samples. Sorting these stacks certainly seems to keep the attendants busy. Cool. Statue in the harbor. The path leading towards the sea is known as the Thaliac Stoa, a name for the statue the scholar stands at its end. As you know, the Charlene people prize the accumulation of wisdom above all else, and when Thaliac was chosen for the patron deity, it was more of a matter of pragmatism, belief, and alignment of principles, as it were. We have honored him with a rather impressive sculpture, yes, but our faith is not so restrictive as that, say the Ishgardians. Individual lands can and do worship the divinities of their choosing. Now that is a sight one can hardly forget, the great statue of Thaliac. Student of Valdesian, is usually quartered the Isle of Val, but I would gaze upon scholar's wise features every time I return my ship to the sea. Oh, there it is. It's Dickon! I see that name. Is there something to do now? What time is it? Right. I cannot. Okay. Here we are, the last stand. I may have mentioned before, but all the research in nutrition and food preparation is quite extensive. It tends to guard seasoning and flavor with a certain indifference. How can I put this? The food is, it's bland. It's given by our infamous Arcumbo. Prevailing sentiment towards cuisine is dietary value first and taste a distant second. Some pupil in the stadium, however, who could stomach the school's insipid meals no longer, so he quit his lessons and poured all savings into building a proper eatery. And so the last stand came to be, as the name implies, the sole dedicated outpost of fine dining in Charlene. One and only bastion of culinary arts and style, otherwise mediocre fare. I seem to recall their burger being held as one of the more impressive items in the menu, not that I ever had the pleasure of eating one myself. He's your typical Charlene when it came to cheap and convenient Raha. Surely Toru has since taught you how to appreciate well-prepared dish. We could all stop in time permits and sample the cafe's delights. Shall we press on? The stairs to the side of the cafe will take us up to the Atherite Plaza. Cool. That's it. He just says nothing. Look at this cute little guy. Yeah, I actually got a message. Hold on. These individuals want. Oh, it's just some nonsense. An unusual shape, isn't it? I assure you, however, this perfectly functioning Etherite. Remember to attune yourself before we move on. Now being the diligent tour guide that I am, I should make mention that Confluence, a research facility located on this very plaza, its much vaunted discoveries are the reason Charlene stands at the forefront of teleportation technology. Ciphering the underlying principles of Algae and Etherites, it allowed us to understand their reconstruction essentially a lost star. After we go to our next destination, our path leads northeast to the Agora, Charlene's largest marketplace. I'm gonna go ahead and set this as my home base for now. Set home. Oh, it's a marker board. Fun. Do not mind if I browse the shelves for a moment. There might be some hidden gems I have yet to read. Only a moment. How optimistic. Feel free to browse all you like, but we won't wait around for you. Perhaps I'll return here later then. This little open-air bookstores are uniquely Charlene. I'd always thought them common sight until I visited other nations. Okay. It's a data poo. That's fun. Reaching the gray, there are plenty of rare and unusual wares, so be sure to take a good look around. Maybe we'll get there in a second. I want to look around. Material bouquet, gemstone trader, materials. Welcome to the Agora. You can find wares made in Charlene as well as a wide selection of imported goods. Also questionable prototypes in the various research institutes. Practices thankfully died out for the most part. Otherwise, I can think of no better place to stock up on your next big adventure. Am I ever selling it? Maybe your serious next stop on our tours of particular relevance. Ultimate purpose here. We must head back to the Atherite Plaza, follow the path north, and climb the stairs to the imposing building at the very top. Okay. These imposing stairs? These little decorative features are typical of Charlian architecture. Aside from the research wing, her headquarters in the Isle of Val were rather simple and rustic in my comparison. This is an infinium, an area dedicated to the blessings of water. For Charlians, water presents more than life-sustaining liquid. It is a reminder of the great flood which precipitated the birth of our nation, as well as a symbol of knowledge which flows from Teket's divine error. This is the reason you see an abundance of fountains throughout the city and a propensity of utilizing water's decorative feature in our architecture. The grand structure before you is the Rodosta. The name refers to the original public platform erected here, upon which a forum of elected representatives would deliver orations and debate policy. Although the stage has since evolved into council chambers, the nature of the forum and the duties of its members remain largely unchanged. Am I boring you? Leraha may seem awfully extracted. My apologies. From here you can see the entire city spread out below. The beasts to put in my mind, they rival the first. Those who had gathered at Crystal Tower asked me how they might go through about building a new home. Naturally, my answer would all inspired by the knowledge of our finest settlement I could think of, the great city of Charlotte. And bit by bit, those few buildings grew into a town, a community, a Christianity. I can almost see its echo. I see. I feel free to come up whatever you wish. I don't think the councilors would have accepted during the day such memories should be treasured. For now, however, the tour must go on. Our spectacle of sightseeing concludes the familiarly named journeys and walk down the stairs to the east and continue straight ahead. To the east. Wait, that's west. This is east. Hold up. We read a journey's end. History tells us that this is where those who put ashore of Akron and Niyunkaleref built the first homes. Present day it serves the residential district and most important officials and older Charlian families. See, the one mansion is clearly larger than its neighbors. This estate belongs to our friends from House of Leveler. All things considered, we should probably keep a distance for the time being. And with that, we bring our little Charlian tour to a close. I hope it has proved an entertaining and enlightening experience. We shall see a direct Balasian Annex. You remember the way, don't you? Let me think. We head down towards the harbor, across the bridge to the right, and follow the path below the Ethereal Plaza. Correct. After you. I think I see there it is. Ethereal chart. Oh, there's another one. So I followed this red mage. Right, we crossed the bridge here, as I recall. Stick to the path and careful not to end back in the Ethereal Plaza. Charlotte is full of educational research institutions. There are still professors who prefer to establish their own private practices. Not that I ever attended the exclusive schools or any of these residents. Perhaps the twins could tell you more about them. Because they're nobles and they're fancy. As a joyous look on Relata's face has not only informed you, this is the Baldesian Annex. If you continue up the hill, you're over the doorstep of Phenomenon. But I think we'll explore it enough for one day. We can take it another time. Inside with you, then. Inside with you! I'm back, and I brought Richtana Laraha with me. Ah, you're right, about the ship then. Hello, Gadaraha. It's nice to see you again. And a pleasure to finally meet you. I've heard many tales of your exploits. Thanks. Ochika Tsunchika. It's been an age. What a fun name. Let me introduce Ojika Tsunchika, the administration officer for the students of Aldesian. He oversees the day-to-day business of Annex. You may recall meeting his cousin Ejika. Oh yes, Erika, I've read the initial report. It's quite a shock to hear that's become of the Isle. Should you care the opportunity to rejoin the expedition? The place is like a second home for the students. The Isle is a Val, served as the main headquarters, of course. We often had the occasion to visit Charlene. Whether to make use of the city's research facilities, attend conferences, or procure supplies for the distant shores. And the annex here was built to provide lodging for our members while we engaged in such activities. Ever since our former headquarters, along with the Isle itself, vanished, the annex has served as our base of operations. And it feels so empty, with so many lost to us. Organization is a shell of its former self. The day will come when we shall see students rise again. But first we must ensure that Teleforais fail. Teleforoi? Though the door is left here is the main hall, we can discuss our options moving forward. That one. I'm looking at it, so you don't get lost. Once everyone arrives, that is, probably have time to rest before discussion begins in earnest. I've had private quarters prepared for you in the Andalon, so please feel free to make yourself at home. I'll then afterwards, perfect for an afternoon doze. I didn't mean to give you the wrong impression. The chambers are quite well appointed, far more than some cheap roadside inn, you may be assured. It was simply that we often been so busy with research or exhausted from journeys abroad that we would slip into the Andron just still a few weeks, and thus they became known as the students' nap rooms, even if many such naps might last well until the following morning. Say the word and I'll happily show you to your chamber. Hopefully theirs won't be too long in coming. We'll wait for you in all the main hall. Ooh. I'm good. No, now there's not like 5 billion people. Look at these fun pictures. Hey, I've been there. Been there. Like that's all clouds. That's really funny. Oh look, it's some sort of naked fairy. Cool. Feeling refreshed and alert? Yep, our colleagues should be waiting in soon. We should just stay here and wait for them to join us.
Pray forgive me. I was delayed.
Forgiven.
It's fine, Marie-Ange. We're all here now.
Let's get down to business then, shall we? Come what may, we must prevent the Telephoroi's plans from coming to fruition. At present, I see two paths for gathering the information which may aid us in achieving that goal. The first involves an investigation into the change which has come over Charlian, not to mention the recent inscrutable behavior of the Forum. As most of you know, the 99 members of the Forum are elected from the general populace. This alone guarantees a plethora of opinion with regards to foreign policy. The bibliotheques, for example, are a group of conservatives which would have Charlian focus on recording history, while remaining entirely uninvolved in the making of it. And at the other extreme, we have advocates for proactive diplomacy and direct intervention. My grandfather Galef was one such member, as was Archon Louisois. Yet despite our diverse factions and philosophies, the recent vote to deny Eorzea's request for assistance was unanimous. Even more concerning was the fact that many cited other, more pressing duties as justification for their recalcitrance.
Fortuno's refusal in Gridania had those same undertones. 'Twas as if, having stared unblinking into the face of impending doom, he had simply turned away to pursue something more important. But what could that possibly be?
A mystery indeed, and one which I ask for your help to solve. Our future may depend on it. As for our second potential path, it concerns a request made directly to the students of Baldessian. Our organization was founded primarily to study strange and unexplained phenomena the world over. Mysterious relics and ruins, arcane disturbances, and so forth. Compared to our more isolationist Sharlayan colleagues, we have strong connections overseas, namely with scholars and academics who share our passion for the unknown. The request in question comes from one such acquaintance, Nidana, an alchemist residing in distant Thavnair. Her missive describes the sudden appearance of a tower, and the subsequent summoning of what I can only assume is a lunar primal. In response to this threat, the Satrap of Radzat Han, the individual who governs the city-state, has instructed the alchemists to find a means to deal with the spire.
The artisans of that land are heirs to an ancient tradition, one rather unlike that of their Uldan counterparts. It is possible, nay, probable, that they have gleaned truths unattainable by Eorzea or her Far Eastern allies.
They do, in fact, appear to have a strategy in mind, though it will require further research. To that end, they have requested an introduction to a capable warrior shielded by the blessing of light.
Assuming we divide our forces to pursue both of Kral's lines of inquiry, then having you join the group heading to Thavnair would seem the obvious choice. But the investigation in Sharlayan is of vital importance as well. Equal, I think, to the Thavnairian one, given that the fate of the world may hinge on the results of both.
Yes, it is quite the quandary. Though it is a great imposition and an altogether too common one, our efforts would be more likely to succeed were you to lead the charge on both fronts. You are indeed our champion. As to which task to tackle first, we will defer to your decision. Let us next decide how everyone else might best be assigned. As for myself, I shall continue what I've begun in Sharlayan. I should also like to steal the services of an Archon or two.
And thereby gain access to a greater range of reading material. I will help with that.
Allow me to offer my assistance. I have some small amount of experience in the field of research.
Alize and I would also like to help, if you would have us.
anything to understand even a fraction of what our father and the Forum might be thinking.
Of course! The more the merrier.
Right. The rest of us will make the journey to Thavner. Thoughts? Objections?
I passed through Thavnir on my way to infiltrate the Empire, and though I'm not qualified to give a guided tour, I did gain a sense of where things lie.
I'll be happy to have you along then. So for this group, it will be you, me, and Urianger.
Give me a moment afterwards, and I'll supply you with all the details of Nadana's request. Consider this hall our rendezvous point once our respective tasks are complete. May our investigations prove fruitful.
Wait, what? The fuck? Hold on. There are two quests. This one sounds more fun than that one. Alright, let's go to that one. Get boots if I do this one though. Am I gonna fit this one? Water. Let's go get boots. Then something changes come over Charlene, but together we will divine the underlying cause of the forum's callousness. As I mentioned before, I've questioned the councilors directly for this endeavor. You see, I've already come to a consensus, so it's how little they're willing to divulge. So I began scouring Charlene's archival historical records for any hint of connection to the final days. Suffice to say that progress has been slow. There are only so many dusty pages one can skim in a day, but now that I have this band of willing reinforcements, it should prove found to be swifter. Let us reconvene outside Northern Elm, shall we? Exit the annex to the right and you'll find the archives in the western edge of the woods. I have Krill's instructions in hand. If you are ready to set out, then so are we. Having been to Thavner before, I can travel by Etherite. But what are the rest of you? Another sea voyage would waste time. Do not have? Krill is the same mind and has already secured an aid of a good folk. The confluence. We'll take ourselves there. Oh, he seems very shocked. The confluence, thou sayest. I'm afraid so, my friend. That will recall the hunt for Iceheart, and to those whose sanctuary we delivered the owing the knowledge of the comrade Munabrea. Munabrea was an authority in etherology, a field study she did embark upon in pursuit of her parents' example. Both are authorities in their own right, and both are researchers at the confluence. That's his girl. Haven't you gone to see them yet? I attempted to do so earlier, but to my shame my courage failed me at the last, as it hath many times I thought to reach out to them by sending that fateful letter. Neither time nor introspection have revealed unto me the words I should speak, and thus I have kept my silence. Whether you come with us or no is your choice, and yours alone. It is too difficult, we'll manage. Thou art kind to say so, but I have my intention of forsaking our cause. I shall go to the confluence, and I shall face that which hath long been overdue. It is settled, then let us be off. When we arrive, we should look for the researcher name. Something. Alright, well. Guess we get our choice. Which. Oh, that's the confluence. Let's head up there. Alright, good. Alright, so next thing... I'm going to go... That's fine. Yeah, let's go there. Oh, that's nice. That's much better. Alright. This is all about. Do my eyes deceive me, or are you me? I am me. Well, as I live and breathe, it is you. Ha, you'll be the first to know the track down the guild ship's top hunter now, eh? Wait, you have heard the guild ship hunts? They are not so different from the hunts that are familiar with the Nozorias, and I understand I'd wager they're rather more challenging than adventure. Your caliber would never turn a challenge, would you? No, you would not. Pray seek the Nortora, the peristyle, to register your interest in earliest convenience. I am Northota. Have you come to place a bounty on a burly beast? I have. By the scholar, you are you. I was convinced I had set the others an impossible task trying to find you. The Cleaners Guild ship has been posting hunt bills, you see, in the hopes that capable individuals take up arms light in the ever-increasing load. Fortunately, capable individuals remain the sticking point, few hailing from the far poles, or willing to take up arms, let alone to be able to stand against the more fearsome species. You, however, have an experience and grit that we need. When I heard that you arrived to our shores, it was music to my ears. You don't work for free, of course. We're doing our research, and the rewards we offer you as fine as we can afford. Abroad. The currency we employ is a relic of times when Gleaner was a great deal less figurative, so you may find it somewhat eccentric, but as good as Gil here. Speaking of eccentric, it should be noted the majority of our clients are scholars. You probably won't have heard of half the creatures they send you after, but I find it best not to worry about that over much. Play beasts, collect samples, try not to think about the long-term effects of touching said samples and get paid. Simple, no? That being said, I wouldn't dream of throwing you in the deep end just to start with some junior marks to get your feet wet. Okay, sweet. Those are sweet links. Kind of blah blah blah. Yeah, I know. I've done hunt boards like 5 billion times. It's fine. There it is. So, all right, good. I don't know what's going on over there. I'm gonna go stand here and look around. Interesting. My directions were easy to follow. I hope in any case you stand over for the doors of the know me around. Charlene's grandest collection of books and tomes. The building's actually only an entrance, so many at that, for the archives of Narmarna extend deep beneath the surface like the roots of a tree. The vast halls of the great global library pale in comparison to Narmarna's and this maze of subterranean chambers. Nathan and Charlene is free to enter and pursue its shelves, while most of its shelves, only archons are afforded the access to certain restricted vaults. I'll dispatch Ishtola and Elaraha to investigate those. Meanwhile, Alice and Alpha Node will help me continue my search through stacks open to the general public. Your status presents more of this problem. As a non-citizen, you are only permitted to browse the first floor here at the entrance. Even so, you should be a number of books you touch upon Charlene history and foreign policy. Task me to find and study the relevant publications. I promise you a working knowledge of these subjects will make it far easier to spot and sort the clues we're looking for. Let us be about it, shall we? I've told you the others to meet us at the stone benches over there once they have found some promising tomes. Happy reading! Alright, let's go. Ooh, that's a lot of books. Oh boy, that's a lot of books. Alright, oh, that's what I'm looking for. The little shiny light. During the chaos of the 6th round, Umbrella Calamity, Archon Newcliffe, founder of Charlene, bore witness to the madness and savagery of men brought by the brink of despair. Upon arising a settlement on the northern island of the empty island, he instructed his people thus: renounce the ways of war and pursue enlightenment through knowledge and reason. The Charlenes took to heart the words of the Savior and thenceforth served as stewards of wisdom. Upon the foundation of acclimated learning, they built a homeland unlike any other nation, born from the strength of minds rather than the strength of arms. With the knowledge of economics comes shrewd trading. With knowledge of agriculture came beautiful, bountiful crops. Engineering brought wells and sewers, ending squabbles over water. Wealth and expertise could be bartered for wealth and coin, and in more than wisdom spread throughout the world, the more mankind the whole would thrive. And so it wasn't a matter of the trials and tribulations of the age. The citizens of Charlene would live by the founder's teachings. For the sake of a better tomorrow, for the sake of a brighter star, they would eschew the tools of war and with knowledge deliver the world. Forever 20 summers. I like the sound of that. My beloved seekers of knowledge, have you ever put the learning before your health and neglected to feed the rest of soul and body? I too once again judged foolish practices, but one night engrossed in the philosophical study, I had an epiphany. For all the world's mysteries that drive us to reckless abandon, we have so very few years of life which to achieve our goals. Thus do I share with you this mantra: I am forever 20 summers young. Number itself is unimportant. It could be 19, 23, or 40, whatever age you are to discover this manual, let that be the age you aspire to remain. Through mindful, healthy living, will we extend the time available to spend upon the chosen research. Another day, another moon, another summer, the grass or greater trees to pursue. In the pages that follow, we explore the secrets of maintaining one's physical condition from the biological, etherological, and arcane viewpoint. This book is the wrong subject. Colossians. Projection to the heavens. Have you ever gazed at the skies with the contemplated the mysteries contained therein? I speak not of shifting cloud patterns to the vastness beyond of the sun and twinkling tapestry of the night. Some think the dome above is infinite space, but sometimes leading thinkers of rage art and scholars' fiction of boundless sea of stars has firmly taken root. Alas, this heavenly sphere remains an unreachable, unknown destination. There are few indeed that can explain in satisfactory detail why our own stars believe to revolve around the sun. It was a technologist of Elag who came close to understanding the laws which govern the starry abyss, and was able to launch Dalamond and sought to expand beyond the earthbound existence. Having read their ancient ambitions, I wonder, has your interest in this field of study waxed or waned? What if we were to tell the eternal constellations were arranged differently in the distant past, and their positions continue to shift almost imperceptibly and immeasurably as we jointly into the future? Would it shock you to learn that stars drift further and further apart, and may indeed do so forever? Are you going to learn more? This book is not important for me to know. I'm reading a lot of trash. The voice of the growing city. In the years that followed the founding of Charlene's civic policy and other matters, the import were decided at the Ecclesia. public forum in which every citizen was eligible to speak. As the city's population grew, however, this format became increasingly impractical. The large number of participants gave rise to ever longer debates, resulting in significant delays of vital resolutions. Various measures were introduced to attempt to curtail protracted discussion. But in the year 201 of the Sixth Astral Era, it was ultimately decreed that Charlene would transition to a new form of governance. The nation would now be led by a bloody body of 99 members, citizens chosen from amongst their peers by means of the nationwide vote. Thus was the form as well as it is today conceived and created. Many years ago, the banks of the Thalic of the Dravanian hinterlands, a Charlene colony once threat. Settlement was originally established as a mere outpost to the Ethereal Sea in the year 1311 of the Sixth Astral Era. Scholars dispatched to Eorzea found the facilities wanting, and their demands encouraged gradual expansion of structures and services. Through a spread of growing community of academics, the area was further inundated with Eorzeian students hoping to share the renowned wisdom of the Charlanes. 50 years later, the foreign passed motion to recognize that it had become a flourishing town as the official Charlene colony. Eorzeian residents was calling the colony itself Charlene, which led to no more amount of confusion. Discussions turned the subject of motherland. Once from Charlene inhabitants, a press for a name would simply refer to it as Emporium. Following the Great Exodus, however, goblins and treasure hunters claimed for themselves a corner of the abandoned colony and gave it another name, Edelshower. Following chapters introduced more prominent features of Idleship that does not appear to contain. Oh, that's fun. I didn't realize this was a colony. Long ago, Blah was a student of astrology, divined the flood of the terrifying proportion as soon as swooped the lands of Azu. So as he built a gigantic ship, assembled a crew, and set sail for the Imperial realm. The flood arrived as foretold into the horror of strangely turning waters, drove the people towards the ocean. It was there, however, that if his crew hauled aboard his ark, but the danger had passed, a towering wave approached, threatening to smash the vessel to pieces. Only moments to spare, Neon Krupp wove a mighty spell of teleportation to shift the entire ship safely atop the Alabathia's spine. Refugees from the surrounding areas huddled there alongside them, but it was not long before the disputes over the dwindling supply of food led to violence and bloodshed. Side by side, Neron Kruff gathered to him his crew and his grateful passengers and abandoned the ark to those red end peaks. They journeyed to the coast where they built a new ship, intent upon returning to the northern seas. They landed on the beach of an island, settled there at the very spot. The settlement prospered and grew, and in time it became the city of Charlene, we live to this day. I do have a fundamental understanding. Look at this little guy. Oh, Paul Wash. Oh, that's why they're all standing here. Sorry, were you waiting long? I wanted to make sure I borrowed at least a few promising volumes. Alpha and Krill should also be along shortly. I was delayed in similar fashion. As far as I could see, no titles in the Archon stacks mentioned the final date specifically, so we had no choice but to start with the tangentially relevant tombs, if they're even that. At present, the plan is to skim through as quickly as we dare and share discoveries as we make them. It would have been nice to invite everyone to the estate. Plenty of comfortable places to read and a ready supply of hot tea. I was quite fond of reading outside, but it's not the little pleasures, is it? You miss your home. It's been difficult. After I rather managed to speak with one of the family servants and ask how things were, it seems our dear father instructed the staff that even if Alpinette and I were to return to Charlene, we were not to be allowed to access the threshold. Harsh measure indeed. I hope that your efforts to understand this position and that the form will perhaps lead to reconciliation. We'll mend this rift one day, I'm certain of it. And what of you, Graha? Have you been to visit your family, or did you not live here in the city? Oh, well, my situation is also somewhat complicated. I was raised in Charlene, yes, but I was born rather further away. In the southern reaches of Ilsabad, in fact, for generations my people have dwelt in Corvus, the coastal region opposite of the island of Thavenir. The Algains founded a city in that fertile land and by ship brought into the subjugated tribes of Makote to serve as laborers. Of course, massive earthquakes of the fourth lumbar calamity brought the end to the Empire's reign, and when the fifth calamity froze the seas solid, many of those tribes living in Corvus braved the journey back to Eorzea. My ancestors ever chose to remain, they might prevent the remnants of Algain technology from being misused. Isn't Corvus under Garlean rule? For the past 50 years, yes, some semblance of local culture remains. That is the case for most imperial provinces, but Carlum had renamed the region Locus Ammonius. When I was a boy, a nearby town came under the jurisdiction of an illustrious imperial family normals of House Darnus. Oh, Darnus. That's a terrible top. I might switch it back. House Darnus demonstrated a singular interest in Algain civilization, and so my tribe was forced to consider a plan of action. For some time already, voices have been raised in favor of abandoning our ancient customs. After all, the Algain I no longer passed our eldest children as reliably as I once had. Fear of discovery eventually tipped the scales, and the decision was made to bear our ties to the knowledge and traditions of Alec. As the last child born of the Algain I was given over to custody of friends and the students of Bastian, who were registered as a Australian citizen. I never even considered. Forgive me, it was an unkind question. Even Thancred was taken in by Archon Louisois, was he not? Stories of adopted waifs and rescued orphans are more common among Charlians than you might think. Yet regardless of our origins, we were provided with an equal opportunity to learn. We are sufficient perspicacity. We outsiders can even earn the vaunted title of Archon. It's exactly what I had such love for this country and always to remain a nation which citizens can be proud. Hear, hear! Another good reason to get to the bottom of the Forum's stubbornness, aside from the trifling matter of the impending doom. Excuse me while I try to make some headway in these books. More completely should be arriving sooner than later. We've returned with our selections. Although I must say the pickings were quite some indeed. Mistress Krill has already flicked through every history book devoted to the disasters and more than barely made mention of them. As such, we'll be looking into research papers, the Umbra calamities, as well as articles written by prominent forum members. Perhaps their knowledge of the final days comes from an unexpected source. Speaking of which, I'm going to ask questions related to the final days. The only one here who didn't witness the events of Amarat's firsthand, and fair may be overlooking critical details. I don't think I saw it either, did I? Oh, no, I was at Amaranth. That's right. My thanks. Now, where to begin? First things first, what kind of phenomena did the ancients encounter at the final days through night? Yes, the unfolding catastrophe brought havoc on all manner of life. Chaos extended the ancients themselves, causing the powers to creation to spiral out of control. Fear and despair manifested in terrible and tangible fashion. Meteors raining from the skies, fire erupting from the ground, indescribable abominations prowling through the streets. The more or less alliance, is my understanding, as the only source of creation had survived until the present day, we might have had some substance to analyze. To the best of my knowledge, however, these techniques are not preserved to pass on. You still summarize as the closest known magic is that of some of the rituals promulgated by the Asians. Was that aught else of note that heralded the approach of the final days? Oh yes, the Amorites spoke a bit, didn't they? They never heard the sound ourselves, course thrust as we were through the midst of the madness. But it seems that each and every one of the catastrophes preceded by this ominous noise. Eventually it resounded all across the star, and not even Amarok was spared. So the sound was crying out, you say. You consider the harbinger of doom. It must have been quite distinctive and probably quite loud. I'll never have to speak with one of the Domain's mammoths to ask after any books that make mention of such a sound. Last but not least, would you describe how the ancients sought to quell this unprecedented calamity? What definitive action did they take? Yes, with a little bit serving as his heart, so many gave themselves a sacrifice to bring him into being. We do not know exactly how Zodiac brought starvation to the star, only that by his godlike will were the laws of nature set right. Then once the balance was redressed, the ancients offered up a further sacrifice to heal the ravages of the final days. Life sprouted anew, and it was fledgling souls they intended to render into Zodiac a trade that would have allowed them to resurrect the shades of loved ones absorbed by the primal. Or might have, had Bennett and her followers not manifest their opposition in the form of Heidelin. Thank you both of you for your detailed review. I feel like much more confident I understand the events. With all that freshly in mind, it does take me to wonder that Teleferi truly mean when they speak of bringing back the final days. We've seen that they're doing with these towers affairs is forcing people to summon primals, a kind of catalyst. Are they attempting to mirror the conditions caused by unstable creation magics? Or are they simply using the final days as a figure of speech, convenient metaphor to scale the destruction and plan of Unleash? Sad, but this is just pointless conjecture at this stage. Let's return our attention to the forum, shall we? We should keep an eye out for Ishtola, but this time we begin studying these research papers. On the last time, I looked into search for the Archon stacks, produced one or two possible useful books, but I wouldn't get my hopes up. If you recall, Orange learned that source reflections from the Galadan oracles for its potential to cause panic and confusion. The tome was deemed apocrypha and sealed away in the Great Google Library. Which is even less like the knowledge of the unsundered world, not to mention the horrors of final days we left sitting on the shelf for any curious scholar to find. It stands to reason that my colleagues, be they Archons or counselors, should preface largely ignorant of the subject, yet when they confronted Master Passionate with knowledge of the terror for a liar, Teleferi and their machinations, he scoffed at the suggestion that they posed a threat. He seemed adamant the forum would know if the final days were truly upon us. To the first conclusion that whatever privileged wisdom was guiding the forums, we have this being kept secret from the rest of the nation. Not that I would excuse myself for reading duty, whether they certain mention of the final days or no, these books could be yet hold something of value. You weren't thinking of leaving, were you? There's plenty of work for everyone. Ugh! And labor it feels like an age, and is still his research assistant. Oh dear, you look exhausted, but what about your studies? Were you able to find any books and subjects I mentioned? The day was well spent. Should we wish to read them again to Mammoth, and the representative will point you in the right direction. For the moment, though, I suggest you go to Cerberus, who might be occupied for research for some time. Alright, good. Oh, wait. Ready for a tea break? I know I am. Honestly, my neck and shoulder are going to be calcified if I want to stretch my legs and walk around a bit. I'll stand on the harbor, don't you? Come and meet me near the outside table, so cheer coffee. It's quite good. And take a break. I'm gonna go do this stupid thing. Let's glue this to my time. Whee. Oh, what's down there? Let me go unlock that, and we'll go stand by Alice. And then we'll pause until I get back from my work stuff. We'll be back. Part 2. Boga. Beg pardon, good madam. I scarce but noticed a sightseeing log on a person who wouldn't happen to be an adventurer my niece wrote about, would you? Aha, so it is. Please make your acquaintance. I am Babeth Ironheart, Milius, aunt, and seasoned explorer. Tyrion had me the log of Rosemary. They told me all about how she helped you embark on expeditions of your own. So, right, I share with you some wisdom of mine. Just talk. Let me see here. I forgot to mention that. And done. Should be all set, dear. I've jotted down everything I've heard about the most remarkable visits the realm has to offer. Of course, a few notes I've shared are not but more rumors from locals so fantastical they can barely believe they exist. But as I always say, the true joy of exploration lies not in the destination, but in the journey. So go forth, dear, and see what sort of journey these hints take you on. That sightseeing log of yours won't fill itself, you know. Sweet. Alright, good to go. Okay. So I will catch y'all later.